Hi, and welcome back to Weatherford Daze. This is Jason once again with Rachel, my wife, and we are here in the third week of Advent. The first time we talked about hope, right? Then we talked about peace, and now we're talking about joy. Did you find that these had a connective tissue? Like, I can.
Christmas?
Well, okay. Other than that,
I mean, like, not supposed to be that obvious.
I mean, like, we hope that our Savior's come. Oh, He's come, and He brings with us peace. And I also have joy. It's like they're all mishmash. They're all
the very
leading to each other.
Best of human emotions.
Yes, and you'll have to come back for the fourth week because we won't tell you what it is. Oh, that's love. It's love. It's love. It's a mini splendored thing. So it's going to be a wonderful subject. We did talk about love a lot in our episode where we talked about how both of us met. We have talked about love quite a bit in all its various ways in other episodes. Tonight we're talking about joy, and notice we didn't say happiness. We said joy because to me there's a difference, but I'd like to know what you think about that. When you were thinking about tonight's subject, what are some things that really just jumped out at you? Because I had to think about it a little bit.
Well, I don't know, because I just got stuck on the joy and happiness are separate things.
Oh, let's talk about that. Yeah.
One thing that I was going to say is that I feel like all of these themes they're hard to kind of separate out because they're very interconnected.
Yeah.
They're all kind of one emotion leads to the other, but they are all emotions. And they're all things that you have to, not only do they happen to you, you also have to choose to walk in them. So there's like an activeness with any emotion, really, that you have to choose. And I know that joy is one of those that I always do say, you have to choose joy.
You're saying they're all active and not passive.
Right.
Because to have hope, you are in active expectation. And to have peace, you are choosing to be at peace. Rather than letting peace be thrust upon you, you're going, I'm choosing. Joy, you're choosing as well.
Right.
And that's kind of what we're going to get into.
But what did you mean by joy and happiness are different?
I don't have scientific evidence for this. It's just something that I think my parents instilled in me and my Christian faith instilled in me too, is that this is just personal to me, but I think happiness is something that is circumstantial. It is, oh, the sun was out today, or this thing happened to me, or this food tastes really good, or are you happy? And I don't know if I know anybody that's happy all the time, because sometimes something didn't go quite right that day, and so you're not happy. But you can choose to have a deeper emotion that's a choice, and that choice is to be joyful. And it doesn't look like I'm happy, skipping, flipping around. I'm choosing something that's more permanent, that like how do I say this? It comes from inside of you, and it comes from what you're thinking about. And if your joy is in the Lord, that's going to be eternal. It wasn't in, things are great with in the government or the news, or my job did really good today, or these things happened to me. I'm thinking about God and what God means to me, and that God's love is real, and that I can trust God. And you find this inward kind of a spring of water. And
okay,
does that make sense?
I'm
getting kind of poetic a little bit,
but I don't think that happiness is necessarily just based on happenstance.
Okay.
I think that that's not really giving happiness the credit that it deserves.
It's due, yeah.
I would tend to agree that joy tends to be a deeper emotion, and happiness does tend to be kind of a lighter level emotion when we think of them. But yeah, when it comes to those, like, okay,
Okay.
one of the things that when I hear happiness,
Yeah.
I go back to a childhood memory of a Christmas play that I was in, and that is Mr. Brooks Goes to Bethlehem.
Wow.
I played at 13 years old Mr. Brooks.
That's the title character. You didn't
Yes.
play a tree. I know Lydia said that
Yes.
the tree is the worst thing to play because you're just standing there like this the whole time. You played Mr. Brooks.
Well, I was at that point one of the older kids that was doing the play, and we didn't have another older guy around that age that could actually carry the part because it's a musical, so we needed somebody that could sing. So that was just kind of what we needed to have a girl in that part.
I think you would have made a gorgeous guy.
It was fun. I had, got to like paint on the beard
Oh,
and
wow. Okay.
I got to wear a full suit. I had a pocket watch.
Okay, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah,
It's
it
fine.
was fun.
It's cool.
But one of the songs from that is about happiness because, well, the point of the play, and if you don't know Mr. Brooks, it's about the writer of the carol, "O Little Town of Bethlehem."
Okay.
So Mr. Brooks Goes to Bethlehem, I believe, okay, it's been a very long time since I knew this play. I did not look it up because I didn't know I was going to talk about it. So apologies.
Okay.
But
Fact
I
check us in the comments. Real quick.
believe it's basically this. I think he was a teacher and he felt kind of dissatisfied with his life and like he didn't really I guess he was going through some kind of a midlife crisis type thing
Right.
and was searching for meaning in his life. And he ends up taking this trip to Bethlehem.
The actual Bethlehem in Israel?
Right. I think so. It's Mr. Brooks Goes to
Or
Bethlehem.
Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Who knows?
But he goes on this journey to like try and find meaning and happiness. And he really doesn't, even though he sees some beautiful things, he doesn't end up actually like finding what he's looking for until he sees this little girl who has kind of the point of the whole thing, and she sings this song. It's called "Happiness is a State of the Heart," and I still remember the song. It's like, happiness is a state of the heart. Happiness happens the moment you start to share the love of Jesus in everything you do. That's when happiness happens to you. And it's the most beautiful song in the entire play. But it's also, that carries the meaning where he realizes that when we're sharing God's love, that, it's about what we do. It's that choice that we make to have happiness rather than, it just being something that we have to find. That it's action rather than, looking for it to just happen to us. So, yeah, that's where it's like, you're talking about happiness really kind of being a lot like joy in that. But then, you've also got all of the things. Oh, I'm going back to Sunday school because you've got joy, Joy, Jesus, others, you. So when you put Jesus first and then others, then you.
That's you. Okay.
That's also when you find joy.
She meant Jesus other to me. And I was like, no.
No.
Wow.
That's
Not
how,
him.
in
I get
Sunday
it.
school, we were taught what joy is when you are putting Jesus first, then others, then yourself.
You're also not thinking so much about my situation and what I'm going through. You're putting others ahead of yourself. And in a way, and many times we actually treat, I've noticed this in recovery groups I've been in, is you often treat others and give more grace to others than you do yourself. And you give yourself really bad self-talk. And when you talk to others and you help others, you're getting outside of yourself and you're actually showing more care for them and the same care you need to show for yourself. So those three things, that works well. It's really good.
Yeah. But I do you also hear, the verse where, or you were talking about earlier, joy unspeakable and full of glory, right?
I
That's another
I don't know
song.
if I quoted that just right. I was just talking about.
Joy unspeakable.
I was just talking about unspeakable joy. We can't talk about unspeakable joy. We have to we have to talk about speakable joy because we're in a podcast, and yeah, dead air would be terrible. So we're doing speakable joy tonight. So, yeah, she looks at me like I'm a weirdo all the
Okay.
time. So it's we're on brand. Um, no, but yeah, a lot of songs have been coming up into my mind. The joy of the Lord is your strength. There's something that this is probably I don't know.
To me,
Yeah,
joy is linked with music.
I was thinking about that a lot today in working up to doing this episode with you guys or with all of us,
With me.
with you and them is songs and music.
Mm-hmm.
And there's even some songs that are decidedly that wrestle with a lot of more, complicated emotions, and I still get joy from those. It's just a different kind of joy. Even that kind of sadness or that kind of regret, there's a joy underneath that because I know that God's got my heart. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a weird, I don't know if I've told you this, but it says the joy of the Lord is your strength. Okay. I reversed it and I went, the strength of the Lord is my joy. And what that means to me is God's got this, and that I can fully give myself over to being in a place of joy because I know that nothing is taking him by surprise, and that he shaped this whole universe. He's shaping my life. He's shaping my circumstances. Those circumstances are shaping me. So I don't know, I kind of reversed it to kind of remind myself where my joy can come from. So does that make sense?
Yeah, just as long as you don't lose the original.
No, of course not.
Which
No,
is
I'm not. I'm not making my own Bible verse.
That joy actually does give us strength to carry on. That goes along with the peace that passes understanding, the hope that we have in Christ to come,
Christ
and
in you, the hope of
the
glory.
love that, like I said, all of these work so together because we have hope that Jesus came to earth, that he, died on the cross, that he rose again, that he paid the penalty for our sins. We can have peace from all the conflict that's in the world, and that gives us joy and the freedom to love. It just.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and about what our subject was going to be, and she said that's my favorite Christmas song. I said, "What is?" She said, "Joy to the world, the Lord is come."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I like the way that it does the grammar." She said, "The Lord is come." Like there's a immediacy to it. There's a present. There's a present
Mm-hmm.
in the presence. It's a now. It's not a has happened, will happen. It's a now, and it's very immediate. And I thought that was neat because honestly, there's little things. She may have told me that sometime in the past, but I never catch it. And then it's these moments when we're older children of our parents, and those things they say really resonate more with us now than they ever have. And so I thought that was great that was her favorite song. So
Funny, I was talking to William yesterday, and I asked him what his favorite Christmas carol was, and he was like, "I've never thought about it." I'm going, am I the first person in your 18 years of life that has ever asked you what your favorite Christmas carol is?
I'll bet that's true.
How have I missed this? Just
well,
he did eventually. He was like, I think God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. So I was like, I thought that was funny. I was like,
not bad.
Yeah.
But it took it. It's not something you can ask them when they're 5. If you ask them when they're 5, it's generally probably it's going to be a Rudolph or a Frosty somewhere in there. And I think or Here Comes Santa Claus. I think when you wait and you let traditions kind of build, and we sing these songs at church and things like that, joy to these songs that we're talking about that are our favorite carols, that really bring us happiness. Every single one that we've mentioned in the past episodes and this one have been very Christ-centric. They haven't been about, I guess, the silly. I'm not downplaying, but the silly things like Frosties and Snowmans and Rudolphs, those are
this
cute.
Christmas I gave you my heart. The very next day you gave
Gave
it away. Like, why?
What
the world gives us is
sad.
just not.
They like those. They like that song because it's fun or because it's sad and it's catchy. I don't think that would be their favorite Christmas song. I hope not. Our daughters, by the way. But yeah,
I don't know, they might say like Mariah Carey.
No, Mariah Carey's song, it's a herald. It heralds the coming of this cosmic Christmas, this consumerism Christmas that's coming. Just like the Silver Surfer is the herald for Galactus, the world of our. Mariah Carey's song heralds the coming of capitalist Christmas and the evil.
Just derailed us.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's
No, that was scary. So yeah, madness that way lies. But no, I think that I've always thought that joy was something that was, when it was really rooted in something spiritual and Christ-centric, that it was unshakable. Mm-hmm. Just like an unshakable peace that the world doesn't understand, because they also don't understand where your joy comes from. And the word joy gets thrown out a lot. They're like, find your joy and treat yourself. And it's very you focused. And that's why I like the JOY, acronym, because you are putting something bigger than yourself above yourself. And a lot of the world right now it's very self-focused. Your joy, your thing. I'm not happy in this relationship, so I'm going to go somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to find joy wherever you look. It has to come from within. It has to come from something that's eternal. Not the way the world. The things of the world are not going to give you true joy.
I mean, the kingdom of God came to flip everything on its head, right? He said, the last shall be first and the first shall be last. And that's very much along the same lines of getting joy from putting others first.
I get joy from other people being uplifted and whatever you want to call that, positive, happy, whatever you want to call that. I want other people to feel. I'm gonna find my joy, and I'm gonna feel it. It's gonna be great. I don't have to wait for someone else to have me feel it. But once I know that it's gonna be there, I can just go, okay, now let me help other people find theirs. In little ways, whether it's a word of encouragement or it's a different perspective, so that they can kind of get out of, whatever funk they might be in. They can kind of go, yeah, things aren't so bad. A ray of sunshine, a ray of light, or a laugh. I think I try to cheer people up with humor. There's little things that I can try to do to help people feel better,
So,
yeah.
Are we ready to talk about some movies that bring joy to us?
We've talked about a couple before.
Can I bring a couple of mine that I don't think that we've talked about yet?
That'd be good, because I think I'm going to mention ones we've already talked about, but go ahead.
Okay. There's so many good Christmas movies, but some of the ones that I like to watch a lot that just bring joy. White Christmas.
That wasn't on my list, but I just felt it.
White Christmas. I mean, that is one that
that is one of our ones we do every year.
Yeah, every year, and
snow.
It really is.
I'm wearing the hat. Come on, I'm wearing the hat. Bing Crosby, eat your heart out.
It really does bring that message of putting others first, and that bringing joy to them. Them learning that when it was all about the two guys who are just
all
rushing
about
around and
their career and all that.
You've got the workaholic and just focused on doing their thing, building their brand, that thing. But then when they slow down enough to actually help someone else,
and they think about somebody who has helped them,
right?
Because the general, right?
Their general.
He encouraged he was stern or whatever, but he kept them on their toes, and they respected him and who he was, and they looked up to him a great deal. And then they're seeing that he has needs too, and that's a very special thing. They're not just going, well, he did right by us, but it's time for us to do right by him. And not only that, encourage others who've been helped by him to chip in, and they do. They all show up for this guy, and it's
through that they find love too.
Yeah, it gets you kind of choked up too about, anytime guys are in a war movie and they're, honoring each other, I get a little choked up.
But the real message of the movie is it's not just a romance.
No,
it's
right.
about giving to someone else and helping, putting other people above yourself. And then
it's fun.
It is fun.
And it's fun.
Another one that I like to watch just because it brings joy.
Mm-hmm.
Kids one.
Okay.
Arthur Christmas.
Yeah, that was one. That was one.
Even more so than Elf.
That was my other one.
Because Elf it's a happy.
He's always got a smile on his face most of all the time.
Right.
And you almost think, like, what is his deal? What's wrong with him?
Arthur Christmas is, and the whole entire point of it is, again, you've got, these brothers who are looking to take over, and the older one is supposed to be the one, he's all organized, he's got everything under control, and he's going to be the next Santa Claus when his dad retires, right?
Right.
And then the dad's like, nope, I'm not retiring. But in the end...
He needs to, though.
Yeah. But in the end, it ends up actually being the second son who really just enjoys the process of bringing joy to kids. He understands what the heart of Christmas is all about. It's not the efficiency. He doesn't
resemble Santa Claus in the least. He's just a guy, looking a little...
The outward appearance, but he has the heart.
Right, exactly.
He has the heart of just, it brings him so much joy. And it's not about the efficiency, and it's not about getting everything out and, done on Christmas Eve, like clockwork, like the older brother is. It's that he sees every single individual child, and the most important thing to him is making sure that each child is taken care of.
He resembled the parable of leaving the 99 to go after the one, because he spends most of the entire movie trying to find this one child, make sure that, because he doesn't want them to...
they missed a gift.
Doesn't want to have that one child go without. It's like all the other kids, they're going to be taken care of, but this one's fallen through the cracks, and that's where he kind of comes in. He goes, you know what? I want to go after the one that's being missed, being overlooked. And I think that Christmas can't be orderly completely. It can't be by the schedule and by the book. It's not for some it's a business, but for him it's a heart posture, and that's what's cool about it. Plus the story's just good, and the animation's good too. So
that's a great one. I feel like that one's a lesser known that should be way more known.
Should be higher up on your list of go-tos. I think honestly there are some that are goofy, silly. I mentioned Home Alone and like the Jingle All the Ways, but those are not the ones I think they're going to stand the test of time. Those are not the ones that are really going to touch on those really deep feelings of Christmas.
I had one more I was thinking, but I don't want to steal all of them if you've got.
I had some written down somewhere. Let's see, that's not it. It used to be, and I still think The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the original cartoon, kids always want me to find it and show it to them again. This is the Boris Karloff one with, I have a soft spot in my heart for Boris Karloff. Do you think The Lion with the Witch and the Wardrobe is a Christmas movie?
No.
It's got Father Christmas in it. No, okay. I do not. I think that when Polar Express came out, people were like, "Oh, this is really what." The animation, and it weirds me out. And people's theories on this movie, the little fan theories they've had, have ruined this movie for me. I've been like, I can't watch it the same way ever again. So Polar Express very quickly just went not a classic. You've named all the ones that we do every year.
Okay, the other one I was thinking though was Miracle on 34th Street.
The original with
They're both good.
yeah, okay, my favorite scene in the new one, and this is the favorite scene in the new one is he sits a little girl down on his lap, and there's a little moment where they don't say anything at all, and he just starts signing to her because he knows she speaks sign language, and actually the actor did such a good job with the little girl's reaction was real. She's like, oh, so so that's Santa Claus right there. He knows all the languages.
Mm-hmm.
He knows even sign language. He knows the language the child is going to speak. And Richard Attenborough did a great job in that. He didn't just look the part. They had that down. So it's
another one with the theme of pushing back against commercialism
and
around Christmas.
Believe in
and
your heart.
The heart of it, which is, at the heart of Christmas is joy. It's being able to create that space in your own life and giving that to others. Finding those moments to slow down enough to say, no, what actually matters most in life. And that's the connection.
Joy also has a volume knob. You can have quiet joy. You can have loud joy. If you see somebody, they're very big, but there's sometimes people put on an outward show of joy, but inside they're really needing some light in their life, and they're feeling very dark in these times. And sometimes the weather and being away from your family or being near your family if you have issues, what I'm saying is sometimes this time of year is connected with a lot of people with a lot of mixed emotions. And when you see somebody with big emotions, it doesn't always mean that they've got that, but you could also look at somebody who's being very quiet. They may actually have a quiet core of joy that is almost akin to peace. Remember we talked about peace last week?
Are you saying that introverts exist?
That's a side corollary, yes. But an introvert can have, just like an extrovert or an introvert can have a quiet peace. And it's, perfect peace. It says a perfect peace whose mind is stayed on thee. Meaning that I think that, and I've said this before, but the eternal and knowing that God has got this is really, what keeps me sane. Because when I'm trying to control everything, things rarely go right. So, there you go. Introverts do exist. Yes. There are quite a few in my life. I did look up some interesting things that happened in history and their connection with joy. One of them I already knew about, and a couple of the other ones I did not. The first one I knew about was it took place in World War I. There was actually the Germans and the British, I believe it was, were on both sides of they called it no man's land. I think it was in France. They were fighting in France. And they basically, for Christmas, they had a truce. They said, let's not fight. And so they came together and actually sat down together and exchanged gifts, or even had an impromptu soccer game. We put aside those things, the dark things, and found some measure of joy and realized, and they exchanged, they drank a little champagne. And it's like, for some people said that for a small period of time, we realized they're human just like we're human. And there's people telling us to fight, and what are we really doing? And they found a time of joy in that. I also read that there was a American soldier. I think he was an American soldier. He gave a couple sticks of gum to a little German child. He was doing a mission flying through, and he thought, why don't I do something different with that? And so they started a tradition where they would drop candy with little parachutes down in Germany. And actually, even after the war is over, they still kept doing it for like decades after. It was called the candy bomber. And they would drop candy down. So it was kind of a little thing where they were like, let's put a little bit of something nice because, there's hard things going on. I also did not know this about the Rockefeller tree in Rockefeller Plaza in New York, where it's one of the biggest things they do at Christmas. They light it up. It's 100, 200 feet tall. It's really tall and big, and it's infamous now. The first one was not, and it was in the 30s during the Great Depression. And the people that were working at that time were lucky to have a job, of course, but they pooled their money together and they bought the tree and they decorated it with tin cans and with bits of cranberries and different things like that, and tinsel that they found somewhere. And it was very threadbare, but it was like that. It was like a little bit of joy in a hard time. And that tradition, even after we got out of the Great Depression, they kept doing it. And so now you get there, and the tree in Rockefeller Plaza is huge, and it's just this big thing. But the very beginning was very small. But those are just an example of some of those things that kind of, I thought, were kind of had a core of joy to them. But the biggest core of joy, I think, is the first Christmas that I spent with you and our oldest daughter, because, I wasn't a father before Leia came along. And so we had Leia, and our first Christmas together was very special to me. And every Christmas after it had been special. I thought I loved Christmas before to an extent, but I think there was a lot of stuff tied up in it because my dad was a florist, and Christmas meant we had a lot of stuff to do, for others. And, it was work, and Dad worked a lot. Mm-hmm. He really worked a lot. He really wanted to make sure that we were taken care of. And part of that meant, a lot of overwork, if you want to be serious. So I think that I had some stuff tied up in Christmas. But I think as I had kids of my own, the joy of it and just, seeing the lights, going to carols by candlelight, there's just, there's those, and singing songs together, wearing the festive outfits and things like, I think I have a newfound joy for it. And if I ever have grandkids, I think it's just going to come back again, and it's just going to be renewed. And it is renewed every year. The joy is renewed every year. It's made new. And that's all I wanted to say about that.
I think that it is, I don't know what it's like to be an adult, like an adulty adult, and not have children as a part of Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
That it really is something. I'm sitting here going,
we didn't have too many Christmases where we didn't have kids.
Well, you had a little bit longer than I did as an actual adult without kids, where it's like you're no longer a child and kind of getting the Christmas given to you and made special by your parents. You're kind of, that transition period where it's like, okay, we're adults now, but we don't have kids. And I don't know, to me, that just feels like it would be a lot harder to find that happiness.
Christmas to me isn't truly Christmas without children in the world.
Yeah, when you have the excuse of like, I have kids and now I can make everything childish and just get the joy out of that because I don't have to pretend to be an adult.
And
I can go back to my childhood and bring back all of the fun and all of the traditions and all of the things and do that with my kids and invest that and pour that into them. Because I have kids,
Do you remember?
Sad.
Well, okay.
Christmas is for adults.
I cannot claim this idea.
Go adopt a kid. If you don't have kids of your own,
right? Go
find some that you can spend some time there. Because it brings all the joy back to adults, I think.
Well, speaking of a kind of a joy, I got this idea really. I don't know, may have gotten it from somewhere. I got an idea from our pastor's son, Isaac. He sat his kids down and went, there was a Santa Claus or was a St. Nicholas at one time. The Santa Claus isn't a real person that goes over, but we're going to pretend, we're going to play the game and I'm Santa Claus, and like, and so it became a game. So basically, instead of telling your kids what some people say is not really truth, you're giving them a truth of we're going through this fun thing. You get to put the cookies out, and the kids would do that. Some years they put cookies out with milk. Like, oh, I wonder if Santa's going to eat those. I go, I don't know, and I knew I was going to eat them, and so it was kind of this fun game. So it wasn't. And a lot of parents have this when they're young kids. They wrestle with this and they go, "Do we? Yeah, Santa Claus is real," and they have to explain all this stuff. And God is real. Jesus was real.
That's
you know,
funny you say that.
Santa
You
Claus.
got that from Isaac because
I
that's the
thought I
way that.
did.
Well, that was always my plan because that's how I was raised too. So
Well,
it never even crossed my mind to actually literally pretend
well,
that Santa Claus was real.
well,
We
I wanted to because that'd be fun. Like, oh, I wonder if he's going to come tonight. And then,
well,
I heard he was in the area.
you let your kids know that they're pretending.
Right. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah, you can still do Santa Claus, but you let them know it's pretend.
But we don't do it as much anymore.
And
The
that
kids
it's
just go,
fun
"Here's
to
your cookies,
pretend.
Dad."
Yeah.
And that's
And
fine.
at the same time, we let our kids know that, there are some kids that don't know that it's pretend.
Right.
And
Because there's some
so,
kids at church. Yeah, we don't know whether they stand where they
we're
stand
not
with
going
that.
to talk about the fact that we know because that ruins the fun of the
It
pretend.
ruins the joy that you can have from that. But we have our own joy and our own way of doing things, our own traditions. Traditions can be a joy if you make them that way for yourself. But yeah,
Traditions help you keep your balance, like a fiddler on a roof. Sorry. Is that a good Christmas movie?
it's got a lot of people with beards in it.
I saw something that somebody I was on some social media. I don't remember where I saw it, but it was saying that, Christmas should include an old man with a beard, elves giving gifts, evergreen trees, and a couple other things. And it said, thus, the best Christmas movie of all time is Lord of the Rings.
I knew where you were going with that because Gandalf and
I
yes,
think that one of the other things was like self-sacrificial love, which again, that's in Lord of the Rings too. So
yeah. I'm not going to tell our audience to fly, you fools. But but we have had a great time tonight. Do you have anything else that you want to leave the lovely people out there with?
no,
We've had a joyful night. I think as we get closer to me being off work and being able to spend more time with everybody and just lays about and but get all the trimming done and just kind of just relax together and enjoy each other's company. I think that's going to be good. But
well, we will see you guys next week. We've already kind of spoiled the theme, but that's okay because
what is it? Love.
yeah. But I'm looking forward to getting back on that topic. That's going to be fun.
It's a big one, and so being able to narrow it down is probably going to be the challenge. But
yeah, I don't think it'll be that hard. I guess we'll see next week. But we hope that you guys have had fun. We will see you next week.
bye.